Welcome everybody, it's Don here once more. This is my second video now showing you how I go about making magic tricks and illusions. This is my version of the knife through the arm trick. But before we get into that, please subscribe to the channel. You'll be informed when new videos come along, hopefully 2, maybe 3 a week. Click that subscribe button and you'll be informed when new videos come along. Okay, so this is my version of the knife through arm. It's hand operated rather than spring loaded. That's how it's operated. So that's the illusion that it shows, and then when you finish you can pull the blade in very easily. It's an easy to operate illusion. So without further ado, let's get into how we make it. Okay, then let's make a start. What you need is some 3mm thick cardboard. It's nice and sturdy. Anything thinner than that, it'll be a little bit too wobbly and very un-knife-like. But 3mm is nice and sturdy and just about the right thickness to use. So if you can get hold of 3mm, all the better. And you will need one piece that is 1 3/8 wide. That is 35mm. So 1 3/8 wide that way, and 14 inches long, which is 3.56 centimeters. Okay, so that's one piece. And then you need 2 pieces 6 inches long. That's 1.52 centimeters and 1 3/4 inches wide, which is 44mm. So 2 pieces 6 inches by 1 3/4 inches. Right, what you need to do then, what I've used is the top of a paint pot and marked out the corners of each of the 2 small pieces and just marked there. So I'll cut along those lines to make a radius on all 4 corners, like so, on both pieces. So that's what we want to do first. Cut those radiuses. And then in one piece only, you need to cut this groove out, this part. So 3 inches from one end, 3 1/8 of an inch from one end, or 79mm, 2.5 inches long, or 64mm, and it needs to be 1/4 inch wide, or 6mm. Okay, so we need to cut that out there. A bit tricky cutting that out at 3mm, but take your time, and it is possible to do. So we need to cut that out, cut the radiuses, and then on the blade, which will be the blade, I've used a bigger paint pot lid just to make the radius on the end of the card like that, which will give the impression of the shape of the end of a knife. Okay, so any old thing will do, just to make some kind of round shape on the end of the knife. Now, for the actual recess for your wrist, it is surprisingly small. You wouldn't think that just such a small radius like that would go onto your wrist, but it's surprisingly very small. But anyway, measure 5 inches from the end, not the radius end. From the square end, measure 5 inches or 1.27 centimeters, and then 5/8 of an inch from the top, or 16 millimeters. Is that right? Yeah. And then with a pair of compasses set at, I think it's 1.5 inches, but you'll have to go off line. You'll have to go off the end of the and keep moving the point around until you get it like that, and you're able to make a radius like that. So 5 inches from the end, set the compasses to 1.5 inches, and then mark out the radius. Well, it's not radius, it's just an arc really. So that shape anyway. Okay, so I will go away now and I'll cut that out. I'll cut that out. I'll cut these round and I'll cut that out. And then I'll come back, show you what to do next. Okay, so I've cut out the part that fits over the, you see, even just such a small piece cut out there, it sits very nicely over the, and I'm a fully grown adult, so a smaller person, it would look even more dramatic. Cut the end, that's more of a knife looking shape, and then cut the rounded the edges of the handle, and cut out the I forget what you call it. What would you call that? Slot. That's it. Slot. So I've cut that out, and I've cut 2 pieces of card 1/8 of an inch wide, so they will sit right on the top there. Stick that along there and stick that one along the bottom, and when that goes on there, you need to make sure that that will slide freely between those 2 pieces. Okay, so it's best to stick one on, and then with the blade in place, stick the other one on, and then you know you've got the right distance apart. But the idea is that this slides between those 2 pieces. Okay. Now, please pay attention because this is a tricky bit. Right. Now, we're supposed to believe that this is a knife blade. Well, actually, it's just a piece of cardboard. So we're going to have to make it look more like a knife. Right. So I'm going to have to take this away to reveal my cutting mat. And I've marked out along the edge here 1/8 of an inch in from the end on both sides. And what we're going to try to do is cut a cutting edge. So with the ruler up against that 1/8 of an inch line, and I'm not going to be able to do this over the top of a camera. Okay, let's try. So align your ruler up, and then with your knife at an angle, so like that. Be very careful. If you take it easy, just do one cut, and then another cut, and another cut, and then another cut. Okay, so now we've got a sharp edge. So if we do the same the other side, line it up like that, knife at an angle, 45 degrees around there, something like that. And cut along there. So now with a piece of sandpaper, we can make that look really like a knife. Okay, it's a bit thick really for a knife, but I think from a distance no one would know. Once we've painted this silver, no one would know that that's not a knife blade. Okay, so I'll stick these bits on, make sure that this runs between the two, and then what we can do is put this piece on the top. When this piece on the top is stuck, still making sure that this will go in and out, then we can find out where we need to put our little mover handle. Really, that's what it is, a handle. So when we when we hold the handle like that, we can pull the blade in. We can pull the blade in and we can push the blade out. I know professional versions of this illusion are spring loaded, like you press a little button and it goes click and it flicks out, but of course that complicates matters a great deal, and it would be far more expensive and time consuming, and quite honestly this does just the same thing. If you practice enough, you're able to saw your wrist with the knife and then slowly push that out, and it looks as though you're cutting into the wrist. But I'll assemble all this and I'll show you the end result and how easy it is to manipulate this little handle in and out. It's not a problem at all. In many respects better than a blade shooting out very quickly. So I'll put these bits together and come back and we'll finish it off. So I've stuck those 1/8 wide pieces along the top and the bottom, and it allows the blade to freely go in and out quite freely, like so. Then I put a piece on the end and shaped it to the shape of the end as well, like that. That will act as a stop for the blade when it comes back, like that. Okay, I've sprayed my blade silver, but I'm so damned impatient I haven't waited for the paint to dry, so I've not made a particularly good job of it. But I'm sure, but like, as you can see, that's as good a knife-like impression as you could ask for, really. Nobody's going to touch it or get close to it, so it's very knife-like, even with a rubbish paint job like I've just done. So now you've got to decide, are you left-handed or right-handed? Because the blade, the cutout will go in the downward position depending on which hand you hold the knife in. So for me, I'm cack-handed, I'm left-handed, so it will be like so. I've painted the handles black as well, by the way. Sorry, no, that would be for a right-handed person. So for a right-handed person, that would be easier like that. But for me, these would be the other way round. It would be like that, like so. So it would be, for me, a left-handed person, like that. So you must decide whether you're left or right-handed, and yeah, up to you. So once you've got these on and the piece at the back, and this runs freely in and out, then we can stick that to that, like so. There would normally be a piece like that showing on an ordinary knife. So it's not unusual to see part of the cutout like that. If you didn't want to see that, then obviously you could set it so that it was further back in the handle. But I think it looks more realistic when you see a part of the blade like that. Once that's stuck in position, pull the blade out to as far as you want it to come out. So that would be about the right position for the blade to come out. So once you've got it in that position, then I've got two small pieces of card that fit nice, well not fit, are slightly smaller than your, what do we call it, groove. I forgot again what we call it. Right up to the end there, and then another piece on the top like that. Okay, so when they're stuck in position, you can then pull the blade back into the handle with your thumb. Okay, got that? Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. Okay, so I will do that. I'll put it all together, get it working properly, and I'll show you the end result shortly. Okay, so I finished it off, made a bit of paint job of it, and as you can see, I think that's passable as a knife from a distance. In the back there, that moves quite freely, and it's got the little button on there. We can slide that in and out with ease. But the reason I think this is better than a spring-loaded one is you can show the audience you're starting to cut the wrist, and as you're going past, you can push the button and show it cutting through your arm, and then when you're finished, you can slowly pull it back and show the ordinary blade, which you can't really do that with a spring-loaded one. Okay, so there we are. That's my version of knife through arm illusion magic trick. If you've enjoyed this video, then press that subscribe button and you'll be informed when new videos come along. In the meantime, have a go yourself. Let me know how you get on, and I'll see you in the next video.